Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to do our round 20 preview for NRL Fantasy in the 2025 NRL season. So before we talk about my team specifically, we will have a quick look at the top trade-ins, top trade-outs, and then we'll assess what we're doing with the team. So number one on the Who's Hot list this week is Talon De Silva. So obviously he has a bit of a widest ranging role there at the Eels. Cheap price as well, so he is a pretty handy downgrade. And also I guess, hooker's a position where there's a couple of great options at the top, but there's not a lot of depth, I suppose. So having someone like De Silva on your bench in case of emergency could be pretty handy. So I do understand it. It's not a move I'm looking to make, but I can see why he is number one. At number two, Latrell Mitchell. So I guess those looking for an elite wing fullback, Trell is a good option. Obviously, the goal kicking helps. His ability to break tackles and set up and score tries does give him that upside. And I think, this time of year, you do want to start looking a little bit at that upside. Bo Fermor at number three. So I imagine a lot of these trade-ins for Fermor are a straight swap for Dylan Lucas. Pretty much as like for like as it gets in terms of dual position, playing in that second row instead of the centres, work rate, try scoring ability. So, again, probably not a move I'm looking to make, despite probably going to trade Dylan Lucas out this week, but definitely understand it. Number four is Tanner Boyd. So obviously a cheap half, pretty much slotting in for Luke Metcalf. Did get involved in a lot of the tries last week. I guess just my reservations about him not ever really being fantasy relevant at the Titans. Obviously it is a different team, so it is possible. But again, not really flirting with players around that price point. So I'm happy to let Boyd go. But I do understand the trade in. Big Tino at number five, could be a keeper in the mids. There is a lot of high scoring and high averaging mids this season, but again, Tino can play the big minutes, get the tries, that sort of thing. So I don't hate it as a move in this week. Number six, Angus Crichton. So now that he's a bit clear of Origin, and he's a bit of a point of difference, not very highly owned because of the poor sort of Origin buy coverage that he offered. I do like this move. I have been sort of thinking about bringing him in. Haven't locked anything in 100% just yet, but he is definitely in the consideration. Ali Katoa. So if you've got the money to go up, I think you can bring him in with confidence. Nico Hines, keeper in the half, so I think you could bring him in if you wanted to. Connor Watson, he's one of those ones I was alluding to previously, those elite level hookers. So I've already brought him in. Would highly encourage others to get on board. Herbie Farmworth's probably the number one option in the centres. So if you've got the cash, you could bring him in. Jaden Campbell, I've been very high on all season as a keeper option, even though he has since found his way out of my team. And I haven't found a way for him back in just yet. But I can highly endorse bringing in Jaden Campbell. Isaiah Katoa is another one that very keen to bring in. Did have him penciled in last week before sort of some last minute adjustments. Got Herbie instead. I guess maybe with Katoa, if you're looking at him or Hines as an option, Katoa does have the bye next week, so a bit in line with Herbie Farmworth as well, I suppose. I think Herbie's a keeper regardless, but Katoa, that bye might factor in your decision. Josh Papali, looks like they're going to give him the 6 jersey for the rest of the year, see if he can make it his own. In which case, might be a handy option as a cheaper wing fullback. Jacob Preston, so I guess a few people have seen him dip in price and trying to get on a bargain. I can't blame anyone for that. And Adam Dewey, so The last one on this list, but I would have thought he's a bit higher given I really like that move to lock forward. If it's a permanent one, I think, this is always our Yo 2.0 with some goal kicking to boot. So I'm massive on the Adam Dewey trade in. I think, yeah, I've got him as number one on my list this week. The Who's Not list featuring a lot of injured players. So Dylan Lucas, yep, absolutely. Uh, Unfortunately, we have to cut him. Hugo Savala out injured, so he's done his job for us. You can cut him. Ryan Pappenhausen out this week again. Who knows when he comes back? If he's kicking goals when he comes back, so I think he can cut him. Kautoga, not sure about his injury status or what the case may be, but not named this week. There's plenty of edges or centers that you can target. So I think you can trade out Kautoga. Couchman out for the season. You can trade him. Metcalf can trade him out for the season. Fletcher Sharp there as well. King Togia, I mean, yep, he probably don't necessarily need that low score stuffing up any auto emergency issues. So, yeah, you can swing him to a De Silva or a Boyd. That's fine. Fletcher Sharp's out for the season. I think I already said that. Kalen Ponga, pretty sure he's on ice for the season, so you can chop him. Jazz Tavanga has had a downturn in form, so might be an awkward price, but if you can go up to a Watson, great. If not, maybe he's the one you downgrade to De Silva, invest the rest elsewhere. Payne Haas is a hold. He is one of the elite mids in the game. Uh, Unless I know we've all got 8 trades, but unless you've been hoarding additional trades, I don't see why you would trade out Payne Haas for 1 week. Sandon Smith, despite Hugo Savala being out, still didn't get named. So, yep, he can definitely go. Damien Cook, haven't really thought about Cookie too much, to be honest. Might be that mid price one. Again, go up, go down, whichever way you have to go. Karapani on the bye, so is a useful number for the rest of the season. He's playable depending on matchups. Um, but if you need the number this week, yeah, you can trade him out. And Jackson Purdue, I guess, moved back to 5'8", so not sure if that's a long term thing. Might be back in. Oh, sorry, moved back to the centres. No, that's right. He was in the centres, moved back to 5'8". Whichever way it was, I think it's not ideal for fantasy, so he can go. So, in terms of my team this week, we're going to try a bit of live trading. Thought everything was going to be pretty sweet. We didn't have to be too aggressive until the news that Cleary and Yo both rested. So, I guess we've got Donahue, who is handy enough as a half. Slot him in there. Payne Haas was on the bye. That was already pre-scheduled, so Kalabatangi can come in. Dylan Lucas can come in, and then I guess with Karapani, we currently need to. I'll put Pappenhausen in there because we're going to trade him out. Get Kiraz there, or Nwani twice, so it doesn't really matter. And so then, as you can see, we're left with not a lot on the bench. We've got Finu Duncan, who's playing in the centres this week, given the shortage of backs there at South Sydney, and Fletcher Hunt, who's moved back to the centres, and Dane Gagai going to fullback. So if we just sort of do some organising, we're not trading Yo. We're not trading Cleary, and we're not trading Haas. Sorry. And we're definitely not playing Hunt. And Finu is probably, the least desirable, but I guess we can potentially loop. Although Tigers play Sunday, Can't really do a loop there, I don't think. So, yeah, I'm hoping to be busy on Saturday afternoon. So with that, you can see we probably need to make 3 changes here and Pappy. Fortunately, we've got 8 trades and we can use 4 of them this week. So let's go shopping. So the first sort of trade out, um, Dylan Lucas out, unfortunately with injury, and we don't quite have the budget for it yet. But Hudson Young is coming in, so that's nice. The second trade, Tullis Duncan out, and as I said, my man Adam Dewey coming in. Is that gonna? Shouldn't create an issue because they're both on the bench. So the third trade, we're going to go Karapani out, and the player I want to get in is Angus Crichton. There's a bit more of a point of difference. You can see only 7% of teams is always nice. And so what that means is we need to find some money. So when we trade Pappy out, we've got 467 points to spend. So points, dollars, whatever it is. Currency. So if we go for the players we can afford at wing fullback, and based on form, the answer is our man Tom Trebojevic. So we're going to slot Tommy Turbo in there. Obviously, that spot would be great to have Jaden Campbell. So I guess what we could do alternatively is look at Campbell in. This is going to stuff it up, but 450k we would then have to spend, and it can be on anyone because Campbell can go on there. So if I might have, got to get rid of the thing. So if we look at all positions at 450k based on a form, so you've got Khan Pereira, which is Rocks and Diamonds. Billy Smith scored well last week, and only 51 in fantasy, so solid, not spectacular. So I'm just looking at this. There's no one I'm super keen on. Maybe Whiten, and then we're getting into some serious pod territory. Jamie Humphries is an interesting one. Obviously, he doesn't have the goal kicking, but yeah, and I guess Latrell does do a bit of the distance kicking now, so maybe give him a miss. To a Picky as a bit of a pod win. CNK back. Do not know. Let's see if we can find out. Casualty Ward. Where are you? There it is. I don't think he's out that long term. So the Warriors, yeah, CNK back next week. So to a Picky would have been an interesting option, but not to be. Laban Talcott. Yeah. Guess maybe we go the really spicy option. Renner Carl, I'm a big fan of him, but we've already got a cheap wing fullback. So unfortunately, I think we're going to have to go with Hunt. Surely he's in our price range. Keep going. Keep going. This is making for great internet viewing, no doubt. All right, let's just blow it up. Okay, so he's not in that price point. I thought maybe Lockie Galvin, 454. Oh, 4K off. That's a bit flat. With him moving to halfback, I think Birdo will still do a lot of the kicking, but I think the 80 minutes in itself was going to be enough to see a bit of value there. But he's done a little bit too well leading up to this game. Do we look? I need some more prices. So maybe do we go instead of Hudson Young, we go Eli Katoa to make it happen. Really want Hudson Young. Campbell. So it looks like he's lost a fair bit of cash there. So it would have been lost 50k this week. What's his break even? I wonder. Campbell. Break even of 81. Yep, sweet. So that makes that decision a lot easier. So, um, I guess if we do want to potentially bring in Campbell, so we definitely go on Pappy to Turbo. So do we still go with Crichton, or do we go the funky Galvin move? What are our halves? We've got Hughes, Donahue. We've obviously got Cleary. We've got Dewey now as well. Finally, so we're well stacked in the half. So we're pretty well covered in the edge as well. I think we're pretty sweet across the board currently. So yeah, it may just be a thing of unfortunately Campbell doesn't get back around to us unless the value drops a bit more. So we'll go for Tom Travojevic there. So that's all gone through, which is pretty rare for fantasy trading. And so yeah, so that leaves us with the squad as you can see here. So got a decent 16 this week. Finally, I've got a question mark over, but they do play the Titans at Leichhardt on a Sunday afternoon. So there could be some nice attacking upside there. So I'm not too upset about that. And then obviously you can see we've got the three sort of big guns here. Um, so yeah, so like Tommy Turbo is a bit of a mid-price option. Probably put Donahue and Curran in that mid-price category. So and maybe Dewey as well. So I guess what's that sub 600? Well, Donahue's the same as Crichton, but I have Crichton as a keeper. So we've basically got well, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 keepers, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 mid prices, and 2 cheapies. I've missed someone there. That doesn't add up the numbers. So what I say, 1, 2, 3 mid prices, 4 mid prices. Oh yeah, 15 guns. Yep, 2 cheapies. There you go. So pretty happy with the squad where it sits. So yeah, those last 4 trades might just be for covering injuries. Yeah, so then it's just captain, vice captain this week. As I said, Sunday afternoon at Leichhardt. I think that's a Terrell May fill up session. So locking him in as captain. Vice captain, if that doesn't work out, I mean, not too sure either way. I guess just going on price. Well, going on price, you'd have to say Herbie Farnworth, but probably just Aaron Clark, rock solid in the lock position, playing against the Knights. So yeah, we'll just leave it as that. Don't overthink it. I guess maybe just for a bit of extra coverage because I don't think we've got a middle on the bench. Let's throw Hudson Young on field. So we've got Curran can cover there, Adam Dewey can cover those, Fletcher Hunt can cover there. So I guess it's just the hooker might be a bit of an issue. I want Aaron Clark, so I'd probably have to do something like this. Put Connor Watson on there. Basically, just that way we've got all the positions covered on the bench, and then obviously if one's a late out, Fletcher Hunt becomes part of the 17 regardless. So we'll structure the team that way. But yeah, probably a little bit longer, just going through a couple of different options based on the fantasy stuff. Sorry, the footy stat stuff. But yeah, that was pretty much the plan I had, so happy with that. But yeah, we'll wrap the video up there. So as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the fantasy content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.